On today's show,
we come out actually to the school song. And I'll never forget the first home game we had last year. I was a little bit late with our pregame, and the girls were like, "Coach, we got to go. We got to go." And we kind of hustled out there. And after that, we made sure that our pregame was done early enough.
Happy Thursday to you. Hopefully it has been a good one. I don't know what Thursday means for you, but for my world, it means it's showtime. Welcome into Kansas Sports Chatter. It is a statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. My name is Cole Reif, and we got a good one for you today. Truly, it is a good one. The guests today, Ben Renze, Cole Browne, Nic Sabers, members of the boys basketball team at St. Thomas Aquinas. They will take on our leadoff question. Kevin Bordewick, longtime coach at Washburn Rural for the girls basketball team. He'll be on our program for our quality time interview. Fun stuff with Clint Kinnamon and Clint Kinnamon, the two head coaches for the basketball teams at McPherson High School. Kurt's been there for 30 years. Clint in his second season with the girls team. They will give us a tour and also tell us what it means to be playing in the roundhouse at McPherson High. Taylor Meyers, head coach at Kapaun Mt Carmel girls basketball team. Has been a great year for Kapaun. Taylor will join us on the show. And also Trey Donovan, a reporter for the Emporia Gazette, will break down Emporia High boys basketball and also the success of Opie High basketball as well. Let's get to our leadoff question. More Saints on the show. It's today's leadoff question with Ben Renze from St. Thomas Aquinas boys basketball team. Ben, the question, who's the best player that you have faced in high school so far?
I would say Mav Hawkins. We played him. I can't remember what the day was. It was on TV, and he's like a Vanderbilt commit. He was really good. I mean, he was tough to guard, and yeah, I mean, I would say he's definitely probably the toughest guy that we played against. Did you have the assignment of guarding him sometimes? Yeah, it was me. It was also Kole, who's over here. Yeah, we kind of switched off on him, and we also went zone a little bit too. So, yeah. What stood out about him? Like, what were some of his attributes that made him so good? Yeah, I mean, he just got to his spots really good, and he also has a really good like mid-range jump shot. So it's kind of hard to guard like in between the three and his drive, because he could also just stop and then kind of like step back for the mid-range, which is kind of tough to guard. But yeah, I mean, he just has an all-around really good game. Any specific highlights that stood out from him in that game? He had a dunk that was pretty nice. Okay, I have to say. And he had a couple of those like little like kind of stop and pop mid ranges on me too, which were also those are probably the toughest to guard. What was the scouting report like going in? Like when you're facing a guy of that caliber, like what was the scouting report like? Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like we knew what he was. We knew he was a really good player. We kind of just wanted to contain him as much as we could, and I thought we did a decent job guarding him throughout the game. Yeah, just kind of contain him, not let him get hot from not let him get hot and go on like a really like go on a streak by himself, kind of, and yeah, it's mostly just kind of like not let him get like going. Do you like those challenges, like when you're facing a player of that talent? Like, do you like that challenge? Oh yeah, those are my favorite. Those are my favorite people to guard because it gets me better as a defender, and it's just also fun. Especially it was also fun because he was on TV, and yeah. That has been Renze with St. Thomas Aquinas. Our leadoff question with Cole Browne, a member of the St. Thomas Aquinas boys basketball team. Cole, the question: who's the best player that you faced in high school so far? I would probably say Liam Tesmer. He was just really quick and just got to the paint really good. When did you guys play him? When was that matchup? We probably played them 3-4 weeks ago. So you talk about some of his attributes, like what else kind of made him good? Like what stood out about him that made him so special? His just momentum. Like he's quick and just got to his spot. What do you try to do defensively to try to contain or slow him down? Just
really up on him, not let him catch, just get in front of him.
Any highlights in that game? Like any specific highlights?
I mean, he had a dunk at the end that was pretty nice.
Okay. Any defensive highlights on him? Like, were you able to have some good plays against him?
Yeah, I think we stopped him pretty good. It was just they're all around team. They're pretty good, but we stopped him pretty good.
What's it like when you're facing a team with a player like that? Like, what's the mentality like going into a game like that?
Just really focus on that one player to stop him so he doesn't get hot and stop the rest of the team.
That is Cole Browne with St. Thomas Aquinas. Today's leadoff question was St. Thomas Aquinas boys basketball member Nic Sabers. Nick, the question, who's the best player that you faced in high school so far?
I'd say my sophomore year when he played Shawnee Mission Northwest, Keaton Wagler was probably the best player I played against.
Okay, so what stood out about him?
I mean, it's what you see on TV nowadays. It's all at his own pace. He'll win the game with 30 points or he'll win the game with 10 rebounds and 10 assists. So he takes over how he wants to.
What was it like just seeing a guy like that, like on TV and watching him go for 40-plus the other night?
I mean, it's pretty impressive and it's not too surprising after watching him play in high school and just a lot to learn from now, still playing in high school.
Did you know much about him, like, before you guys played him in high school? Like, what was the scouting report like?
I mean, obviously we didn't know a ton, but we knew he's a good player, facilitate, and his team was really good, so he just had to do his thing, and he'd win the game however he wanted.
How did you guys fare against him? Were you able to contain him?
That was a really close game. I remember a lot of seniors that year, and I learned a lot from them on our team. They did a great job in competing and almost won the game. So it was a really good game to watch, and I learned a lot now as a senior.
Those types of matchups, do you enjoy those matchups when you have a big-time player on the other side?
Oh, I love it. It's the best thing. You want to go out on Friday nights and compete against the best. I mean, can't complain about that.
That is Nic Sabers with St. Thomas Aquinas boys basketball. A trio of St. Thomas Aquinas Saints on the show. Big thanks to Ben Renze, Cole Browne, and Nic Sabers joining us for our leadoff question. The sponsors for the show, SPX. Get those big old LED video walls installed in your high school gym. Contact SPX Video Wall Solutions. Wheatland Electric. Let them help you survey, install, and finance a new backup home generator. Also, Barton Community College. Start your next chapter at Barton. Flexible classes, affordable tuition, and programs built for your future. Eastus Media. Follow Eastus Media on YouTube and Facebook to stay connected to everything Pratt's. And Meyers Enterprises. Bring your business into the 21st century. Schedule a free consultation for your marketing needs. We'll take a break. When we come back, it'll be Kevin Bordewick. He is the head coach of the Washburn Rural girls basketball team. We'll break down the success that they have had this year and also his program culture. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. Welcome back on the show. It's time to talk some basketball with our next guest, and that is Kevin Bordewick. He is the head coach of the Washburn Rural girls basketball team. Coach, appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, I got to imagine as a coach, this time of the year never gets old.
No, it's an exciting time because you're approaching the end of the regular season, and then you're getting ready and prep for playoffs, seeing how all the seedings line up and who the possible matchups might be. So yeah, it's the end of a long season, but when you look back on it, you can't believe how fast it goes.
So you mentioned kind of looking at the seedings. Like, how much are you looking at those standings, just seeing where you kind of move up or move down, especially this time of the year?
Well, a little bit. I think like any Eastern Western division, doesn't matter what classification you are, you kind of look at some teams and think, man, I'd rather play them than them and stuff like that. But right now, to be honest, I haven't looked at them a whole lot. I'm more concerned with our last two games and what we can do to kind of rectify the situation that we found ourselves in with those last two games.
What are some of those things that you're trying to clean up after those last two?
Well, I got quite a list, actually. We just got to get better and more efficient with our offense, and kind of identifying other teams' weaknesses and where we can attack them at a little bit better. We got to have some people step up and score the ball a little bit better than what we are and finish plays. Then on the defensive end, we just got to get tougher. Manhattan's a great team. We played them last night, and they really put it to us. And so we were a little disappointed in our effort and toughness, I think. But those are things I think that we can fix. So we're looking forward to seeing what we can do to try to start to fix that today in practice.
You mentioned, trying to get some girls to step up. Like in your experience throughout your years, have you noticed, is that an easier or harder thing to do as far as, I don't know if you want to call it leadership, but just getting girls to, truly, take on a leadership role on your team?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the group. So you may know that we had a kid named Maddie Vickery, and she's a K-State, gonna play at K-State. She's only a junior, but she blew her knee out over the summer, so we lost her for the year. And that really was an eye-opener. And we had some kids at the start of the year. We were very surprised in a great, pleasant way on how much they did step up. And now that kind of people are catching up a little bit, we have to kind of up our standards a little bit as far as the expectations and what we need to get out of them. We can't go, 0 for 6, 0 for 8 from 3-point range. We can't, lose our defensive assignments. We can't take plays off mentally and not box out or make the pass that we need to make and stuff like that. And with the group we have, we're still kind of amazed at how good we've been, but we know that there's still a ceiling that we have not reached yet. And that's what our job as coaches is to kind of get them to that point.
Any players that have kind of stood out that maybe a surprise or maybe just have had a really good season that weren't necessarily expected?
Well, I think that our returners are, we had one returner, Brooklyn Rutherford, as our point guard, and she's had a really good, steady year. Every season, every kid's got some ups and downs, but she's really, she was our high point man last night as she had 10 points in our game and did a real nice job defensively. We had Ella Hershey and Josie Carlgren and Hallie Walker, our 3 seniors, and all 3 of them have really stepped up nicely. Ella's been pretty deadly for the most part from 3-point range, has played great defense, rebounds well. Hallie Walker is a workhorse inside as far as rebounding. I think at one point she was averaging almost 9 or 10 rebounds a game, about 5 or 6 points. She's done a fantastic job in her first year, really as a full-time varsity player. And then Josie Carlgren is a great defensive specialist, but she's also our second leading scorer. And so those 3 have really added a lot. And then we had a really good freshman come in, Bryn Anderson, and she's been our leading scorer. She's around, I think, 14 or 15 points a game, 5 or 6 rebounds a game, is a great passer and has really made a mark. We've also played 2 other freshmen that have come in, Allie Hink and Cameron Smith, have done a fantastic job. And as the season's gone on, their roles have increased a little bit. Their minutes have increased just as they've kind of caught on to the speed of the game. But Allie's a great defensive player. And on the opposite end, Cam's a fantastic offensive player. So those 7 have really contributed a lot.
You talk about, freshmen getting into that varsity role. I mean, I remember like long time ago, there used to be like coaches like, there's no way I'm going to play a freshman. Now it's like, if they're talented and they're gifted enough, they're going to get out there on that court. But for you, just like seeing the evolution of that freshman, like what is it like just trying to bring them along into your system?
Well, it's really cool because we do a lot of work over the summer just to kind of get to know. We go to a couple of team camps. We have workouts 4 days a week. And just to get to know each other and kind of build that chemistry and know what everybody can do. And we try to develop their skills a little bit, more than just one offensive move. We want to have a variety and stuff like that. But to just see them get used to the speed of the game is really fun. And once they catch on, it's just like it clicks and you're just so much more comfortable having them in big games. And the physicality can still get them a little bit. I think it still affects our freshmen a little bit. Well, it affects our seniors too, but it's just a little bit different than what they're used to. So to see them acclimate themselves to that and get used to it, it's really fun to watch.
What does a general practice look like for you at this time of the year?
Well, we get after it. I think we get after it every single day. We have a lot of competitive drills. I mean, we'll do some basic, shooting. We try to shoot under pressure a little bit, or shoot with contested shots, because we don't get standalones very often. So we try to, work on things that we'll probably see in a game. We try to, fine tune our offense and our offensive sets. But we really get after it on defense, because I tell the girls, that's really what we hang our hat on, is our defense and in particular. And if we can't play good defense, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We have to hold teams down. We have to do all the little things, rebound, box out, and things like that to be successful.
Do your girl, I mean, like, as far as from a coaching aspect, like, building that intensity on defense, is that an easy thing to, relay to your team, as far as, having to get after it on defensive side?
I mean, it can be easy if you've got kids who have been in the program and are good leaders. And this year, I think our seniors, our upperclassmen, have really showed the freshmen. It's remarkable the steps the freshmen have taken in just basic drills that we do. We have a 3-man approach drill that's pretty intense. We do 4-on-4 intensive defense and offensive drills a lot. And just the speed and the intensity, the communication, everything that goes into being a great defender. To see them catch on because of the leadership of those older kids is really fun, because we put a lot of that on the older kids. I mean, coaches can sit there and tell you and get on you and whatnot. And in our program, you got to be able to be coachable. But man, they buy into it. They work hard. And I think a lot of our success is not because we're necessarily great basketball players, but because we are really hard workers who compete.
Kevin Bordewick joining us here, head coach of the girls basketball team at Washburn Rural. I know for you, 30 plus years, whether you're coaching volleyball or part of the coaching staff or now head coach on basketball, like, did you imagine that you would be here 30 plus years at Washburn Rural? It's been a heck of a career.
It has been. And it's a place I dearly love. It's been very supportive. You're going to have some parents every once in a while, and if you're pleasing everybody, you're probably not doing the job the right way. But I don't try to make people angry. I just know that there's a system that we use, and it's been very successful. We modify it a little bit, but the basics of what we try to do haven't really changed a whole lot, and it has produced a lot of success. And I'm not saying it's the absolute correct way, but I'm saying that it works here. But no, I never thought I'd last this long. But now that I'm here this long, I know we have some really great 7th and 8th graders and 6th graders coming in. And I think I might up my contract for another 4 to 6 years.
So for you, like when you first arrived, you go back 30 years ago, like what was the system you tried to install once you were head coach, whether it was basketball later on or volleyball right away?
Well, I didn't have to do a whole lot with basketball because my mentor, or the head coach at the time, is Bill Annan, who went on to coach at Oklahoma State, and now he's at Oral Roberts. But it's just he taught me a whole lot, and I have a great friend named Steve Alexander, who's my assistant this year. He was the head coach at Seaman for years, but those two guys probably taught me more about coaching. And you just kind of take it. You might tweak it a little bit, but you sure don't change a whole lot because those two have been so successful. And then you just transfer that over to the volleyball side, and it's just being consistent, being there for the kids, knowing that they're going to get consistency from me. And if you're good enough to play as a freshman, then you'll play as a freshman. But we'll play whoever's the best. You got to have a great work ethic. You got to stick with it. And more times than not, if you are working hard every single day and are intentional and deliberate with what you're doing to try to get better, you're probably going to have some success. And that's what that's what we try to emphasize to the kids.
Anything specific that stood out when you were coaching with Bill?
He's just a great friend. I mean, we had a great rapport with each other. We were very similar in what we believed in and what we tried to do. And we were pretty consistent across the board through the years. And, so I was his assistant for 16 years and you just can't help but learn a lot from a great coach like him. And I don't know if there's any one thing that stood out except that to be consistent, have discipline, and instill the girls that they've got to compete and they've got to work hard. I think that's what stood out most to him, and just how he relayed that to the girls, because he always had great communication, great rapport with the girls, had great relationships. And I think that's a key to being a great coach.
You talk about, being consistent, and we've constantly seen the consistent success that Washburn Rural has had in a number of their athletic departments. And for you, like for basketball, like you talk about like success breeding success. And I almost feel like it's just kind of a constant thing where, people are expected to see Washburn Rural, at the state tournament year after year.
Yeah. And we've been there a lot. The ones you miss out on are the ones you remember the most. Sure. And those are the ones that kind of hurt, especially if you're kind of used to going there. But in recent years, we won it in 19, won it in 22. We were runner-ups in 23, 24. Last year, we got beat out by the eventual state champion in the first round, and we lost by 6, and they blew everybody else out after that. And it's just one of those, dadgummit, we're close. We need another chance at it. But I do think a lot of young kids in volleyball and basketball look at us and go, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. And I can tell by working with the kids over the summer, the younger ones, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, we have workouts with them as a group, and they're really excited about getting up here. Now, I said, you've got time. You just do what you do in middle school, and when you get here, then we'll see what we got. But they all work hard. They want to be a part of it. They're proud of Washburn Rural. And you're right. I think success does breed success. And I think that's part of the consistency that helps out.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I think Washburn Rural might want to send you like a 20-year contract. So you probably need a bigger extension.
Well, I got some grandkids. If I can get them to come here, maybe.
There you go. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Kole.
That is Kevin Bordewick, head coach of the Washburn Rural girls basketball team. We'll have more of the show right after this break.
Power outages don't wait for a convenient time, and neither should you. Right now is the perfect season to invest in a standby generator from Wheatland Electric Cooperative. With low monthly payments and special financing for co-op members, reliable backup power is more affordable than you think. We'll help you survey, install, and finance a Generac standby generator, all with professional installation you can trust. Protect your home, your comfort, and your peace of mind before the next storm hits. Get a free quote today and make life without power a thing of the past. Visit us online or call us to get started today.
Whether on the field or in the stands, displaying good sportsmanship creates the positive environment for our students. When you attend high school events, young eyes are watching you for examples of acceptable behavior. An easy way to display good sportsmanship is by cheering for your team, not against your opponent or officials. Do your part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience for everyone. This message is brought to you by the Kansas High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team.
We get another opportunity to explore one of the high school gyms in the state of Kansas, and today's tour takes us to McPherson High School. And again, if you're listening to the audio podcast, it's going to be one that's going to serve you best watching it on YouTube for the visual effect. Helping us out with today's tour is going to be Kurt and Clint Kinnamon. Kurt is head coach of the McPherson boys basketball team. Clint, the head coach of the girls team for the Bullpups. Guys, appreciate coming on the show. What's life like in McPherson, Kansas right now?
Well, life for me was, I'm going to be facetious, is a little bit fantastic today doing professional development. And life for me was a little bit different today. I got to do some work in my classroom, so I had to take a personal day to do that. But it was a good day for me.
Well, for you guys, before we get started on the tour, just being able to play back on your home floor, after, the first semester was wiped out with the storm damage and getting replaced with that floor, what was it like just that first semester being, true, I guess, road warriors?
I'll let you address the games, and then I'll talk about practice.
Well,
obviously playing on the road was difficult, and we played some difficult opponents certainly on the road too. And the first game back in here, it was magical. It seemed almost like the season hadn't even started the first semester, because we just nothing was familiar that we were dealing with, and so it was awfully good to get back in here. And the floor looks great, and it's got great bounce to it, and really a tremendous basketball floor. Practice-wise, it was very, very trying, to say the least. It ended up the boys freshman team was practicing at 6:30 or 5:30 a.m. before school every day, and then we would alternate who was early and late in the auxiliary gym. That even got a little bit more dicey when we started having wrestling events.
Sure.
We ended up there were a few times that we ended up practicing at the community building and at the middle school as well. And sometimes at very odd times. I think there was twice we had to wait till the middle school was finished with all of their games before we could get on for practice. But, I think Kurt really touched on it. It didn't really seem like the season had begun because of all the strange things that we were dealing with and being on the road. Yeah, I would mention, one positive kind of a cool thing was when we did practice at the community building. That's the building where the 1936 Olympic champion Globe refiners actually practiced, the same building. And it's kind of a museum towards basketball. So that was kind of cool to be in there, but certainly a pain to have to go across town and having the different practice times.
Well, and one other thing about the community building too is they've got the scoreboard with the actual score of what the Olympic championship game was.
Wow.
But it's really cool.
Well, all right, let's get started on this tour, boys. We'll start out with Kurt. Clint, if you want to flip things around here, and I'll let you guys give us our walking tour, if you will. Kurt, though, like for you, since you've been there since the mid-1990s, like in your opinion, like what makes this gym so special?
Well, for one thing, there's usually a very large crowd here. And, the most special thing for me is when I walk out of that tunnel, come out of that tunnel with the band playing. They always play the Hot Stuff song and coming out of that tunnel. And I still get chills when I do that. And I've always said that when I'm not excited to come out, that's when I'm going to hang it up. But even, coming out every day for practice, it's special to walk into this place. As you can see, it's tremendously well lit. We actually have a guy, Dave Larson, who actually his main focus and his main job is to take care of this roundhouse. So our whole crew takes a lot of pride in keeping this place very nice.
Clint, for you, I mean, obviously you heard a lot about it and you probably attended multiple games, to see your brother coach, but after everything that you heard about the roundhouse and then actually to be able to coach in it last year, what was that experience like for you?
It's a lot of fun. Coaching in the same school that your brother's at is really special. And it's nice to have somebody that I can bounce ideas off of, get his thoughts on how we're playing, and he does the same. So a lot of fun. For us, we come out actually to the school song. And I'll never forget the first home game we had last year. I was a little bit late with our pregame, and the girls were like, "Coach, we got to go. We got to go." And we kind of hustled out there, and after that, we made sure that our pregame was done early enough.
All right, so some of the features, let's see what we got here. Like, what are some of your favorite features of the roundhouse?
Well, I mean, if you look up at the banners from all the years, that's really cool. And they're, they've had to start around the inside ring to hang those banners.
Yeah.
Everything red. Our new floor design, I think, is tremendous with the bullpup in the middle, and the floor had actually been redone last year, and we had they'd put the roundhouse on the side and the bullpup in the middle, and then on the ends the bullpup and McPherson, but they were actually stickers.
And this year, when they redid it, this is all hand painted, so you don't have to worry about that bubbling up or kids slipping on it or anything. I think the multicolors in the floor look great, so really happy to be here.
Concession stands. Where are concessions at?
The concession stands are actually upstairs through the doors that we're looking at, in the AC, which is our commons area.
What about student section? Where are they located?
Oh, right over here in this corner. And our students the other night for the Bueller game, that was a great atmosphere. The place was pretty close to packed for both the girls and the guys game, and everybody was into it. But our students are starting to show up a little bit more now that we're getting closer to postseason, and makes it a lot of fun for the kids to play.
Well, I was going to ask you, as far as the capacity of that place and the standing room up top, how full have you seen that place up on top?
I think the most full I've ever seen it was actually for our girls tournament back in the 90s when it was a countywide tournament, and Little River, I think, won a state championship that year. Mound Ridge won a state championship that year, and our girls won a state championship that year. And actually, I had a couple of my guys. I'll just tell a quick story. I had a couple of my guys who are entrepreneurs who went out and sold parking, and they would shuffle you up to the door for an extra $1. And but the problem was they were selling that parking in the church next door, and it wasn't their parking lot to be selling. And so we came in the next day, and my AD says these guys are suspended, and I had no idea what was going on. And we got to the bottom of it, and one of them I'll never forget. He went on to become a college coach. This young man did. I'm going to leave names out of it, but
sure.
He said they actually went out and bought whistles and orange vests so they could direct traffic. And he asked the athletic director, Mr. Swinson, can we keep enough to cover our costs? And I just about came over the desk at him after he was in trouble anyway. But a great story. But there have been some really big crowds in here. And when they get to standing, there were a lot of people standing around the top the other night. So it makes for an intimidating environment for sure.
I think the capacity is 2,700 without standing room only.
Yeah, it says 2,700 right up there.
Clint, any moments for you, in the last 2 years, just being able to coach there that kind of you got caught up in the moment, wow, this is pretty cool?
Well, we've had a couple of close wins, a couple of overtime games that, when kids make plays at the end of the game, you're always going to remember. For me, being here for 2 years, my memories are a lot fewer than what his are.
Sure. Well, yeah, you mentioned that, Kurt, anything that's changed. Obviously, you got the new flooring now here recently over the last couple of months, but anything that's changed in the Roundhouse since you arrived in the mid-90s?
Yeah, they were wooden bleachers.
Okay.
When I got here, it was wooden bleachers, and you were likely to get a splinter if you weren't careful. And the lighting, it had kind of a greenish tint to it. So it is a much different feel and look in here. And I remember when we had the original floor in, they had something happen right over here along the sideline. A girl went face first diving for a ball, and she chipped both of her teeth off. And after the game, I remember we went over, and you could see the 2 teeth marks in the old Roundhouse floor. And when they put in the new floor, they made some mementos for people, and I don't know whether she got that.
She should have.
No kidding, she deserved that one. Wow. All right, so is there a good side to shoot on? What's the best side to shoot on? Which end?
We shoot better on the home end.
Yeah.
Which is the end we're on right now.
Always on this end is the best end to shoot on, because you can communicate a little bit better and things like that for sure.
Our bench is actually on the left side instead of the right side, like most home gyms are, because our locker rooms are this way.
I got you. Okay.
And we have, used to have press row was right behind, but now press row is moved over to the other side. and they have a digital running advertisements, and it's a pretty neat setup for sure. One thing that we have that very few others have is we've got live stats.
Wow.
And we've got a crew that does a fantastic job. They're bringing them to you at every time out, halftime, after the game. It's really, really nice to have that. Yeah, that's the McPherson Optimist Club actually does that, and then they go and they do one of the state tournaments too. So these guys are very good at what they do.
A media-friendly gym. It just gets even better. I like it.
Yes, it is.
Hey, boys, I appreciate the time, and thanks for the tour, and best of luck the rest of the season.
All right. Thanks, Cole. Appreciate you. Thank you.
That is Kurt and Clint Kinnamon, the head coaches of McPherson High School basketball. That'll do it for our stadium tour. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. We continue on here on Kansas Sports Chatter as we bring in our next guest, and that is going to be Taylor Meyers, the head coach of the Kapaun Mt Carmel girls basketball team. And Taylor, appreciate you coming on the show today. I mean, Kapaun playing some good ball right now. Like, what stood out to you about your team and what is going well so far?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And really, this year our girls have just like bought in fully. It's really hard to have a completely new staff and to come in and them to just buy in the way they have has been great.
What was it like for you just kind of making that decision to come over to Kapaun now in your first season as head coach? What was that decision process like for you?
It was a big jump. I actually had to switch jobs because of making that decision. I had picked these girls before that, even knowing what I was going to do after that. So it was really kind of an all-in choice for me too. And that's just kind of translated in like how we've done things and how we're moving as a team and as a group. And it's just been a lot of fun.
What was the transition like for the girls, especially early on in the season, maybe even like going back to November before the year starts in December, but what was that transition like for the girls just trying to pick up a new system?
Yeah, we've definitely had some growing pains. So it was completely different from what they had played last year and what they had known. So they're learning to play that man-to-man help side defense. We hard hedge. We're really little. So we get creative with our post play. So there's just been a lot of learning, but they're starting to put the pieces together. We talked early about, just focusing in on what we're teaching because it'll come together at the right time. And they're finally starting to see those pieces come together. And so it's rewarding for them to finally get to see what we've been telling them is going to happen actually happen.
You mentioned that man-to-man help side defense. Like, what's key for you when you're trying to coach that and trying to implement that with your players? Like, what are some of the things you're trying to preach?
Jump to the ball. When ball moves, we should be moving. We also hard hedge, which was a harder concept to teach. Because we're so small, we try to put a little bit more ball pressure up off that ball screen and keep the pressure outside. So that was different. And then forcing baseline, something that was new to most of them is they let people go middle a lot. So we've been fixing some feet since day one, and that's something they're really tired of me yelling at them.
Well, you talk about your time at Wichita Independent. Like, what'd you pick up there? Like, what kind of things were you learning there at Wichita Independent?
Last year was my first year as a head coach. The program was much different last year than the 2 previous years that I was an assistant there. We had graduated and lost quite a few kids. And so last year was a year of, we had some senior cheerleaders who just wanted to see us have a team and they played. So that was a much different concept. We played zone over there. We were teaching kids, where an elbow was. So the jump from that to this is night and day different. We have kids that want to play and want to be here this year. And that's been, as a coach, it's been a whole lot of fun to just get to engage with that and be at a different level.
Well, I mean, still, and even at Wichita Independent, And, being able to win that state title a couple of years back, like go back to that year and like you're on that staff, like what did it take to win a title? Obviously you got to have good talent, but what is it that grind from, start to finish to be able to win a state title?
Yeah, you're going to work day in and day out, and we had some really good athletes. I'm still with Zoe now. She was a part of that team freshman year. We were young. So getting those girls to stay locked in for the long basketball season was a lot of work. But that was something that they said early on that they wanted. And as coaches, we're gonna fight as long as you're fighting with us. We're fighting for you. And so it was being consistent in the gym and what practices looked like and how hard we were going against each other. And, we had a smaller team. And so a lot of times it looked like Coach and I were doing drills, practicing with them just because we'd have kids out and we couldn't even go full court. And so just trying to create that competitive environment. But that year was a lot of fun. We had a lot of athletes and it was very basketball focused and it was great.
Talking with Taylor Meyers, head coach of the Kapaun Mt Carmel girls basketball team. I mean, how much fun is, just 5A West, just keeping up with the standings right now with yourself being really good? I mean, Hayes and Andover, Mays South, and, Eisenhower, even Bishop Carroll, who you recently played. Like, how much fun is 5A West this year?
Yeah, it's very competitive. I don't know that everyone expected us to be a part of it the way we are. So I'm super proud of our girls and they're just really buying in. It's been a different level of basketball than like we were talking about earlier, from last year. And so it's what any coach wants to do. Like you come into this, you coach because you're a competitor. And so it's been great getting to just compete day in and day out. Every night you've got to show up or it goes wrong. So.
You talk about, showing up and competing. Like, I mean, what's the city league like? Because, you look at your schedule, obviously, and it's full of, the Wichita schedule like it should be. Like, so, like, for you, like, what's that Wichita talent like and just competing in the city leagues?
Yeah, I think that there's some really athletic and really talented teams this year. And so we've just, really been, one game at a time. And I think that that's ultimately going to prepare us for what comes at the end of February and getting us ready for sub-state and state tournament time and just getting to run up and down with some of these bigger schools, play with some of those athletic kids and some other really good coaches.
So for you, like what got you interested in coaching? Like what kind of inspired you to be a coach? What's your basketball background?
So I've been playing basketball since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. It's always been something that I've done. I played college basketball, and then after graduating, I probably went a year and a half without coaching, and life with basketball just kind of wasn't it for me. I missed it pretty bad, pretty quick, and so I was doing my internship for my master's program in 259, and that's kind of like I just kind of marched down to EJ Garnes at North and was like, hey, I'm gonna come help you coach here, and it was kind of history after that. So then we moved to Independent together, and then ultimately I took over at Kapaun. But yeah, it's just kind of always been a part of it. My grandpa's a pretty big coach out in Texas. He basketball, football, all the things. And so it's kind of just been a part of our family. And I can't imagine not being a part of the basketball world.
Was it Tabor College? Were you Tabor College Blue Jay?
I was a Tabor College Blue Jay, yes.
Okay, so doing my extensive research of the quick Google research, I saw your bio on Tabor College, all right? And so one of the questions they asked you on your bio was your pregame jam. And you said your pregame jam was All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. So like, was that always one of your jams?
I love Christmas, so I'm going to tell on myself, I'll even turn my camera. I still have my Christmas tree up in my office at work. It's over there in the corner. So I have just always loved Christmas. And I'm sure that when we filled those out, it was probably around Christmas break when we had time. So that's what was on replay.
So do you ever play any Christmas music for the girls now at Kapaun?
Absolutely. They take the aux from me often. They don't really let me be in control of the aux. They take it over, which I'm okay with. But we do a lot of different things for Christmas. We have our our party, and we did a cookie decorating contest. And so we have a lot of fun at that time.
All right, we'll keep those Christmas jams going. It seems to be working. Coach, appreciate the time and best of luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you so much.
That is Taylor Meyers, head coach of the Kapaun Mt Carmel girls basketball team. We'll have more of the show right after this. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. You've got to tune in to Kansas Sports Chatter, whether you're listening on a podcast or also streaming on YouTube. Appreciate it as we bring in our next guest, and that is going to be Trey Donovan with the Emporia Gazette. Trey, appreciate your time, and a busy time of the year for you, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Basketball, wrestling, swim and dive, which I've never covered, but it's been fun to cover. But, yeah, high school sports is keeping me busy this winter.
So how much are you learning about swim and dive?
A fair bit.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to learn, like, how the scoring works. I know it's all, like, time-based, but then, like, you can get points if you're, like, top 12, and I'm like, oh, that's a little odd, but I adjusted.
Multi-talented. Well, Emporia High basketball for you, I mean, just getting kind of a front seat into those Emporia programs, but it's been fun to watch the boys basketball team this year.
Oh, yeah. It's also been very stressful watching them. They right now they're 15-3, 3-1 or 4-1 in Centennial League play. Yeah, they're really good. I think they're now 8th in 5A when they were 5th to start the year, or not to start the year, but before winter break.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a really good team this year.
Like, what stands out? Like, what makes them so good?
Well, I would say, as in like typical NBA terms, they kind of have a big three. So they have 2 juniors and a senior that lead the charge. The senior being Rylan Kroll, who just does everything for them. He's their leading point guard. It just does everything. Harrison Trelk is their shooting guard / small forward, and he could just light up the scoreboard shooting. And then they have a big junior, Tarek Franklin, who is really good in the post. He plays bully ball, and it's worked out. And then the rest of the roster, that team is just filled with dudes. Like, everyone can do everything, and that is why they are out to their 15-3 record.
Yeah, it's been impressive. I mean, even looking at their schedule, like, I mean, and they've had a really good schedule, it seems like, Trey.
Oh yeah. Like, before the break, their schedule was really tough. Like, they faced Great Bend, who, as most people know in Kansas, as Ian Premer, but I would say probably luckily for Emporia, they didn't have to face him because he got hurt before the game. But even then, that was a close game. Like, Great Bend is still a great team without Ian Premer. And then, like, Emporia just wins every close game. And then
Hayes is on that schedule too, right? That's one of the 3 losses.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, Hayes was on there too, right? One of the close losses.
Yeah, that's one of the close losses on the year. And yeah, Emporia just plays tough. It's like the perfect way to describe them. They're never out of it, and they're always in it, no matter the score. Because I don't think they've really been blown out.
Like, for you, like, I mean, beginning of the season, like, I mean, did you get a feel for like what the expectations were for Emporia basketball?
Like, the general like vibe I got was like they were kind of expecting, it's a first year head coach and Evan Burns, and they have talent. It was more like, can they build on? I think they were 13-11 or something last year. It's like probably shooting for something like that, where it's like the same season, but get the new coach, have him build his system, build his style of play with the team. And yeah, I think he's blown expectations out of the water because I don't think anyone had him top 5 or top 10 in 5A.
So crunch time for Emporia boys, like who's getting the ball? Like what's getting drawn up in crunch time?
See, that's the fun part because they can draw up a play for just about anyone. A couple games this year, it's like I think there was a game where they had like multiple like inbounds, like key inbound plays on the baseline, and they would draw up like a slip screen play for Harrison Truck to hit a corner 3. They would have a different variation of that to get Tarek down in the post, and like they could just do a lot of stuff with what they have because like their starting 5, they could shoot, they could drive, they could do everything. So it's like they have variety of options.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like, I mean, especially that area. I mean, Emporia boys doing well, but I mean, you got so many other like smaller towns around that Emporia area that are doing good. Obviously, you know, Olpe just seems like every single year that, you know, they're shining, and both their girls and boys are doing well.
Oh yeah, I think they're both still leading the Lyon County League, and they're both just insane. Like Olpe boys is ridiculous. They're just a star-studded lineup that are just rolling through a super competitive Lyon County League. And I don't think I've seen someone just do that. And then for the girls, they're also good. I don't know as much about them, but I know it's kind of the same deal. It's like historically they've just ran through the Lyon County League, and they don't seem to be stopping.
It's been a long tradition. Hey, Trey, appreciate the time and enjoy the busy time of the year.
Oh, yeah. I have enjoyed it, but I can't wait till spring for baseball and softball. That's my thing.
It's right around the corner. That's Trey Donovan with the Emporia Gazette. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. You can find all the archive shows dating back from August to now by liking and subscribing on the YouTube channel, Kansas Sports Chatter. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, Meyers Enterprises, SPX, Wheatland Electric, and Eastus Media, and Barton Community College, who recently celebrated their Pink Out Nights, where they raised $5,000 to Camp Hope, which provides a free traditional summer camp experience for children who have or have had cancer, raising $5,000 at a recent home basketball game for Camp Hope. Big shout out to Barton Community College. All right, that'll do it for this week's episodes of Kansas Sports Chatter. We'll be back at it. Follow us on social media. Keep up to date with everything going on with high school sports in the States.